Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Magic and Miracles, where you learn how to be the magician of your life. My name is Anna, and I'm your most favorite manifestation coach under the sun. Reason why is that no one else spends as much time on their clients as I do. True story. Go and do your research. I'm on the phone with my clients 2 to 3 times per week if you're in coaching with me with the telephone session. And I correspond with my clients who are in the audio package with me 2 to 3 times per week, depending on the length of the audio, of course. The most two popular packages with me, all the information is below on my website, is the first package, the unlimited audio exchange, and the second is the unlimited telephone sessions. Now, it depends what you prefer. In the beginning, I would advise you to go with the audio exchange, but if you're the kind of person who has a busy schedule and has to get feedback right away, I advise that you go with the telephone session. Now, this means we get on the phone 2 to 3 times per week, like I said. You have to have a time slot with me. I demand that there is structure in my coaching. This will help you as it will help me, of course, to deliver what I need to deliver to you. But essentially, we get on the phone 2 to 3 times per week for an hour. I record that hour. I send you the tape. I re-listen to that tape afterwards and take my extensive notes. And we'll reconvene with feedback on the next session. With the audio exchange, it's a very similar process, except you record your audio. We go through everything in my coaching, starting childhood, adolescence, especially if you're new in my coaching, all the way up to now, because I really need to know your history in order to be able to help you. Any coach that does anything else, that's not how it's done. Okay, I'm going to be kind here. That's not how it's done. You really need to know the person's history in order to be able to help them. If you're not willing to do this for yourself, you're doing yourself the most profound disservice. And let me explain why. A lot of the information that will help you transform your life today is buried in your childhood and your adolescence. I'm just going to be straight with you. Everything after that is kind of like a regurgitation of all of these situations. So whatever you downloaded, the beliefs that you downloaded earlier on, I need to know about them. This is why. Not because I'm nosy, but because I really am trying to help you to the best of my ability. And so if you're one of these people who is, wanting me to sign an NDA, that is fine. My coaching agreement already states that everything is confidential. The rare exception, which I never had to deal with it, fortunately, is if you become a threat to yourself, myself, or others. And the reason I even felt like including that clause is because, well, I've had some stalkers. And it's funny because my channel isn't that big yet. And I already experienced people coming to my residence and essentially demanding to talk to me, or via email and otherwise. So that's understood that everything you share with me is confidential. I take my work extremely seriously. The only reason I do this work is because I care about people and I really wanted to help and contribute to the internet, something that I know for sure. After seeing so much bullshit on the internet, I said, I think I need to go out there and basically say something, because a lot of, can I tell you something? 90% of the things I see on the internet are profound, tremendous bullshit. And it's upsetting to me, and this is why I do what I do. I think it goes like this. I think people want to have you on the hook for the rest of their fucking life. There are those people, gurus and coaches on the internet alike. I don't. If you want to stay in coaching with me to expand your horizons and keep working with me, That's all right. I don't have a problem with that. But I don't demand that you stay in coaching with me till the rest of your like life. Like when you see these people going to seminars of Abraham Hicks and this, that, and the other, and it's like, are you learning anything? The idea is to learn, to download it, to have your life situated. So if it takes you like 6 months or 7 months or 8 months, fine. But like at some point, you go and fly, my darling, like a bird in the sky, right? So that's the ideal situation, rather than giving pieces of information to people that, quite frankly, have absolutely nothing to do with them, because it's just a generalized statement. Now, parenthesis here, my audios are also generalized statements inspired by my own experiences, obviously, because I always come from my personal experience, which a lot of people don't do, by the way, on the internet or any guru. Have you ever heard Abraham Hicks, for example, speak from their own trouble that they made themselves out of? I don't remember that story. Do you? Please comment. Maybe I'm wrong. Do you remember, somebody like Tony Robbins go in front of everybody and say, yeah, I was in deep shit, or this was my dilemma, and this is how I created the solution? I don't hear those stories. And I think, honestly, between you and I, it would be tremendously helpful. And unless I'm completely wrong, unless I'm not understanding something, or even Bentinho Massaro, and as much as I adore him, Benny, where are the stories that you dug yourself out of some situation? Seriously. And so this is what I thrive on the most. It's not about the manifestation techniques and this and that. It's about, how do you actually create this fucking shit? All right? How do you actually do this? That's the fucking shebang, because most people want to understand, techniques, visualization, scripting, bullshit. Not bullshit, but I'm saying, got it. But ultimately, if I'm in a rut, what the fuck do I do right now? That's the whole shebang. And to the best of my ability, I'm trying to offer that. This is why I offer coaching. This is why I'm doing all these audios, quite frankly. And so if you're serious about changing your life, please come into my coaching. The extraordinary thing that happens if you put in the work on yourself, I can only suggest, I cannot tell you what to do. But the extraordinary thing that happens is that you experience a shift unlike any other shift that you've ever had in your life, because I don't want to spend forever with you. I'm very concentrated. I'm a powerful manifestation coach who will tell you exactly what to do. If you listen, if you don't, well, then it's on you, my darling. And that's about it. Okay. All the information for me is below. If you have any questions, please either comment or, better yet, email me. The subject of today is how to always get the version of your SP your way. I don't know why I'm laughing. It took me a little while to come up with this subject, because I literally wanted to express what I actually wanted to say. Sometimes it's hard. Words are hard. Vibration is easy. For me anyway. All right. So let's go through my notes. This is something you'll hear a lot when you're in coaching with me. Let's go through my notes. Started taking notes. I had to. Sometimes I don't, meaning for my channel, but this time I certainly did. Okay, so number one, we start with confidence. I mean, you guys all comment on this and you email me. I have so much fan mail. It's ridiculous. Confidence. Where do you get your confidence? How do you know? What's the knowing? The confidence really, I had to think about it. Excuse me. It's in who you really are. Underneath all this bullshit, you are this golden Buddha. You are this marvelous being who you have yet to get to know. You have yet to understand what you're capable of. And because a lot of people have these beliefs, which I work extensively in my coaching on, that do not serve you. And the reason they do not serve you is because they don't hold a candle to you. It's completely separate from you. It's usually picked up from your mother, father, drama, panorama. Give it back. Confidence is in, I am the person that I really want to be. And that's who I am. Just because I want it to be that way. This is all a hologram. So if I want to be somebody, I am that person. It's just like an actor becomes a certain character, and they have the skill to put themselves in the state of being that character. That's who they really are at that moment. For myself, when I was acting, I'll be completely honest with you, it was extremely difficult for me to get out of the role when I went home, because I got so fused with the state. For a lot of actors, that's the case. And so for me, in between, I would take breaks with the acting, because I just became that person. And sometimes the character is not so jovial and happy, and I would carry it home. That's how much I would completely fuse with it. And so, but the confidence is in who you really are, underneath all the layers of bullshit, of beliefs, of experiences, of whatever people told you about you that usually isn't true. It's just based on the experience that you had with them, or the state that you had at that moment. Is the confidence of who you really are. The confidence that you can move worlds with your intention only, that you can go from one parallel reality to another in a millisecond, that you can manifest absolutely anything you want. Now, to the degree that you allow that to happen has to do with your belief systems once more, and to being able to imagine, but also to believe. To administer belief to anything is to create it in your reality, to make it visible. And so, knowing versus truth, when it comes up, like, how can I know that I can get my SP, the version of SP special, not just my SP, like, fuck that old version. Like, what the fuck was that? This was like so stupid that I even manifested that, and this experience was crap. Got it. Absolutely, granted. But knowing versus doubts goes like this. I absolutely know who I am. I am the God of my reality. What I say goes. I have the confidence like that. No matter what happens. I've got, this is my world, and I do not care what anybody else says, what anybody else outpictures to me. My inner truth, my inner knowing establishes my world. And if I let doubt interfere, then it's like, well, there's, a sort of deviation to what you actually are. Never deviate from who you actually are. If even for a moment you can do that, but don't reside there, is my point. The number one thing is to know who you are. If you know who you are, if you know that you're the God of your reality, and that you absolutely have the power over everyone in your reality, and most importantly over yourself, then you're home free. If somebody says something, let's just say about your SP, and they say, well, or if even if it appears to you in the 3D, which is another component of, I suppose, an entity. I think 3D is like an entity, basically, kind of like an informer. Like, this is what you have, this is what you have, this is what you have. And you go, this does not apply to me anymore. This does not apply to me. Somebody says something, this does not apply to me. Somebody suggests something to you that you don't prefer, this does not apply to me. This is my favorite expression. If you see something on social media, this does not apply to me. Essentially, you pick and choose what you want to create. It's like a mosaic. I loved making collages ever since I was like 11, 12. I loved it. All the supermodels, all the fashions and this and that. And I didn't realize that I was actually making like a vision board. And all of, I mean, that was my life, you know, within a very short period of time. And so collage is essentially what you have to make out of things that you prefer. So you see something on social media and you say, yes, please, I'd like a piece of that. Duck. You put it in your collage. You dream of something. You make a wish. Duck, this is part of my collage. This person says something you don't want. Fuck you, go. Like, I don't care what you say. This is not part of my collage. I am the ruler of my universe here, so you don't get accepted to my magical kingdom or queendom of marvelousness, so fuck you, go. This is how selective you have to be. This is how precise you have to be. Specificity is the name of the game. And so how to always get the version of your SP your way. Your thoughts created them in the first place, right? So we've established this on my channel like a long time ago. Your thoughts created this person in the first place. I don't care what you say. If you're in my coaching, if I ever talk to you on the phone, which by the way, you can also book a phone session before you book me for a month or 2 or 3, which I recommend 2 to 3 months in coaching with me at least. I will discover that at some point you dreamed of something, you made a list, or you thought or energetically invited this person in. There's no question about it. Every single person that I've ever spoken in my coaching, they've established this, like they've fucking seared it into stone, that this is how it is. Not that I ever had a question about it, but I mean, when 100% of the people tell you the same thing, it's like, yes, that's how it works. You've created this person in the first place. So now, if you have created this version in the first place, don't you think that you're entitled to creating the 2.0 version, the next level up version also? Yes, indeed, abso-fucking-lutely. Again, they will look the same. They will have the same name. It will be like something has happened to this person where you don't even know what happened, but you don't even care. A lot of people want to figure out how this works. Why are you busy trying to figure out how this works? It just does. It's your decision that matters. Your thoughts need to be switched out. So if this person was a certain way where it didn't please you, they didn't treat you nicely, they were unfaithful maybe, they were dishonest, they were unkind, switch it around and like, this is the kindest person ever to me now. The most faithful and loyal person ever. This is the most amazing and accommodating and marvelous, genuine, vulnerable, beautiful person that I've ever met. And that story will play in your mind. Do you see what I see? This is how it works. I have so many notes on this audio. You better get ready. Okay, it's going to be long. In other words, it's your story. You're the only one who's writing the story. And I'll tell you what. The transition from one parallel reality to another, meaning from one version to another of the story of events of anything, that just not applied to SP, is gradual, right? So when you hit download on a certain app on your phone, there's a certain percentage that shows up. And so if you're consistent enough, the percentage will get eventually to 100. But this is why it's so important to keep reminding yourself which version of reality and your SP you're switching to. Right? If you stop the download in its tracks and you revert back to the reality that hasn't served you, well, guess what? You're going to have to start all over again. It's not lost. It's not dead. It's right there. You can go back and re-download the app and everything will be beautiful. The thing is, though, you are delaying it. You're thus delaying it. The shift happens this way. It's gradual. One day at a time. It's like many people get into my coaching and they said, oh my God, Anna, like, within a month or so, not to brag, but true story, it's just the truth. They go, oh wow, I feel a real shift. I can't put my finger on it, what it is. It's just, I feel different. Everything is different. Different manifestations are coming to me little by little. And all of a sudden, I feel like a different person. And that it brings me immense pleasure, to be completely honest with you, because that's what it takes to become a different version of yourself. Because once you have that made, well, you're home free, like I said. It's like... if you understand once and for all that you're the main operant power in your universe, you're the center of the universe, and the only person to change is you, which is why coaching is so powerful. If you let it happen, if you don't fucking rebuttal me throughout the coaching and just take my fucking guidance and listen to what the fuck I'm saying, because it works. It just does, okay? You will experience the shift that will be unparalleled. You will move worlds with your intention, because you will allow yourself to be that new version. And one morning or afternoon or evening, you will be awakened to the profound knowing, realization and knowing of what's about to manifest right in front of your eyes. It will be a knowing, like, this is about to happen. I feel it with every fiber of my body. I know this person is changing like this. I have no question in my mind. None whatsoever. 0 would be the number. So let your magic revolutionize your life. Stop postponing it. Stop being the person you don't prefer to be. Start being the person you would rather like to be, because on that level of frequency, that version of you has the corresponding versions of your SP, events, circumstances, money, everything you want. But everything you want. That's your level of magnificence. Okay? And the thing is, you really have to get to know your parallel reality, parallel version of SP, the new version of SP. Like you know them now. If you know them to be a certain other way that's not pleasing to you, drama, panorama, whatever, not loyal and this, that, and the other, drop that shit. Drop that story in the fucking garbage and be like, I need to know a different story. Knowing is like being, you embody that. Just like I described just a minute ago or so, about me fusing with my character when I was acting. I knew that person. I became that person. Most actors, that's how they operate if they're really good at what they do. And again, not to brag, but you fuse with it. I always had that ability to become somebody that I wasn't, simply because I allowed that energy to wash over me. In the same manner, you have to get to know your new reality, your new SP version, and let it become a part of you. And it will wash over your reality and create a completely new situation all around you. It's like putting on new clothes, putting on a new perfume, I don't know, putting on a new attitude where it's like, my SP is gaga for me. My SP is crazy about me. I can do no wrong by them. They're so enamored with me. It's unparalleled. I don't care what happened before. This is the new story I'm playing. And I'm not going to keep making reference to what happened before. That's the magic power that you have. Be the more powerful one. You think your SP right now, chances are, has more power. He or she does not. You gave them the power to behave the way that they do. Now think how powerful that is. I already discussed this on my channel, like plusieurs temps, plusieurs fois, sorry, faut pas, plusieurs fois, j'ai discuté cet sujet sur mon YouTube channel. For French people. I already discussed this so many times on my channel. So now be the more powerful one and understand that you always been, and conduct yourself as the one who is the decider. When you sit down and decide how your new version is going to, of SP or of circumstances and events is going to be, that's what the fuck is going to happen. And it doesn't have to take a long time. It does not. I want to make a reference to this movie with Tom Hanks, Big. When he goes to this like machine, whatever, your wish is granted, it says. That's how it is. Except you don't need a fucking machine. The machine is your brain, your mind. Your mind gives you your wish is granted. Your wish is always granted, by the way, no matter what. So start deliberately asking for things that you want granted. Really quick, parenthesis here. This is going to be long. You have got to face your fears associated with the past experiences. You have got to face your creations up until now. There's no other way. You have got to face the understanding that this has been your mirror. This has been your mirror. There's no other person in the room to mirror off of. So if your SP has been acting like a jerk, that has been the projection of your mind, the sending out of messages towards them that you have been employing. The mental conversations, like Neville teaches, it's quite frankly extraordinary. That's the thought transmission. Thought transmission, well, for me, is it goes beyond that. He taught the conversations. I teach thought transmission, like you're going to think like I think. Parentheses here, they already do, but that's beside the point. Mental conversations are like this. You are this person now. We're coming in good union. You're becoming this way. You have always been this way. This is how you're going to act. This is what you're going to think. I'm the love of your life. You want to marry me and have kids with me. You can never, even fathom being with anybody. And I don't care what you did in the past. This is how you are now. That's what it is. And also, I'm dropping gold here, left and right. If you're thinking of them, they're thinking of you. A lot of people write to me like, are they thinking of me if I'm thinking of them all the time? Yes. The answer is yes. If you're thinking of them nonstop, they're thinking of you. The universe has no secrets. It's a quantum field. It's an invisible internet of thought form. So if you're constantly like on this trip of figuring shit out, you do not see it, but they're figuring shit out too. And so you need to understand that just because you don't see it, and the reason you don't see it is because you don't allow yourself to see any action, because you're thinking over here, I was left behind, they were unkind to me, they were this, that, any other. Switch the story and see the new version appear. Switch the story and see the new version appear. One more time. Switch the story and see the new version appear. You're the only one with the pen of the to write the story in the first place. Hello. Just write a new story. Your wish is always granted. Grant another fucking wish of yours. Why don't you while you're at it? To make your life easier. I'm all about making life easier, quite frankly. The most powerful trick in the universe, I already spoke about this in my channel, and this is how you switch realities, quite frankly. So listen up. Change the emotions without evidence. That's in a nutshell. Change the emotions without evidence. So in other words, if I don't see what I want to see, and I'm quote unquote miserable, and I want to be happy, I want to be ecstatic, I want to see my SP, I want to hear from them, I want to get a call from them, and this, that, and the other. Well, if I feel ecstatic getting a phone call from them, and I feel surprised and I feel elated, that's what I need to feel first in order to get a phone call from them. Does that make any sense, class? You're a remote control. Your body is a remote control. Just remember that. So you manipulate, quote unquote, this reality by feelings. Switch in the parallel reality based on the way that you feel. So if you feel elated and ecstatic, that feeling has a different parallel reality attached to it, a different timeline, in fact. Because if you stay there, you can always descend, go back up, descend, but stay there. The idea is to stay there the entirety of time. Momentarily, you can get angry, resentful, blah, 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 blah. But as long as for the majority of the time, I would, for myself, 90% of the time, at least 80, 85%, if you stay there, you're golden. You've got it made, darling. And then everything is in your favor. Everything is fine. Even if you're in the 20% mark, you can elevate yourself, maybe not overnight, but maybe if your faith is strong. And you can create a reality that's diametrically opposed to what you're experiencing right now. There is no out there. There is no other person. Your SP is just a mirror. So just remember that. This will help you greatly. They are your concoction. They are your creation. If you're mirroring and out picturing out situations from your consciousness, from your beliefs, from your perceptions that do not serve you, it has to do with you. That person is just reflecting back to you all day long. And so if you want to create a new version of SP who is going to come your way, come back and stay with you, you're going to have to do some examination of yourself. And that's what I do in my coaching extensively. There is no way, number one, that you can change it any other way. Number two, there is no way that this person will ever stay away from you again and ever be any other version of themselves again with you if you change them and really be on purpose about it. Thank you very much for listening. All the information from me is below. Until next time. Ciao, ciao.